Assalamualaikum. I am Taiba and you are watching your own channel Audiovisual Books. With the editorial and opinion section of Daily Dawn, I am here. It is Strategic Shift by Muhammad Amir Rana. Today's opinion. Let's start with the geopolitical landscape of our region changing fast. Many optimists say they are able to see a shift in Pakistan's geostrategic approach. Some believe this shift is largely oriented towards geoeconomics, and if established, it would be a major doctrinal shift. But so far, state institutions have not hinted at that in their statements, or perhaps this is merely an issue of a different reading of their actions. Pakistan's faltering economic indicator do not lend weight to such notions that the state is making some expedient efforts to strengthen its geostrategic or geoeconomic approach. For one, even the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which was until recently projected as a game changer for the country's weak economy, has become a victim of the short-sightedness of the state institutions. However, those seeing a shift in Pakistan's geostrategic approach do not use economy related arguments only. They also highlight the changing geopolitical behavior of the state, especially towards Afghanistan. Pakistan's role in Afghan peace process is vital. It was widely appreciated being instrument being instrumental in sealing the U.S. Afghan Taliban deal of Feb 29. But this does not reflect any change in Pakistan's strategic approach. Instead, it supports its long-standing position. It has long been advocating that a negotiated settlement between the Taliban and the other Afghan stakeholders is a viable solution of Afghanistan. Pakistan has facilitated talks between the US and the Taliban because of several reasons. First, the US has acknowledged Pakistan's stance of negotiated settlement. Secondly, the Belt and Road Initiative and CPEC are also factors because China does not want a major protracted conflict near a key belt of its ambitious connectivity initiative. Similarly, Pakistan's internal security concerns as well as its urge to correct its global image have proved to be critical reasons. Pakistan's cooperation on Afghanistan has not generated support for its stance on the India-held Kashmir. It requires an in-depth inquiry to examine how effectively Pakistan used these factors and to what extent they have influenced the country. However, Pakistan's strategic doctrine appears to have remained unchanged in the process mainly because the geopolitical and strategic challenges facing the country have still not been resolved. Nevertheless, these challenges have become more complicated after India revoked and the special status of India held Kashmir last year on August 5, which was granted under Article 370 of the Indian Constitution. Pakistan tried hard to raise the issue before the international community and on the relevant platforms, especially focusing on human rights abuses in held Kashmir. These efforts yielded results, and international media and rights groups took the atrocities in Kashmir seriously. However, Pakistan has not cultivated enough political and diplomatic support to force India to review its brutal practices in Kashmir. China supported Pakistan's stance at the UN Security Council, but that was not enough to pressurize India. However, a real setback was experienced when the Muslims bloc led by Saudi Arabia and the UAE obstructed all Pakistani's effort to use the organization of the Islamic Conference platform for Kashmir. It showed that the religious bond is relevant in international relations only when coupled with a strong economy. South Asia is the region Pakistan considers the least essential, or perhaps it does not fit in well with the state's ideological framework. Pakistan's close bilateral relation with South Asian nation should have generated political capital to pressure its economic and political interest in the region. Despite introducing structural and destabilization reforms, Pakistan is desperately looking for economic revival. The war elites' continuing practices reflect that they are mainly capitalizing on the strategic importance of the country, which they believe can perform miracles time and again by diverting international investment and aid towards Pakistan. The nuclear arsenal and strong military forces have contributed to this confidence. Afghanistan is central to this approach from where the country can extract global support. Afghanistan is important for Pakistan not only in the context of the Indian pressure in its backyard but also for strategic reasons, and the US has exploited it very well. Pakistan's cooperation in the Afghan peace process facilitated the improvement of its global image, reduced the trust deficit in its relation with the US, and helped it get loans from international financial institutions. But Pakistan's cooperation on Afghanistan has not generated support for its stance on Kashmir. Second, in its effort to balance its relationship with the US and China, Pakistan has significantly lost focus on CPEC, which was a rare opportunity for the revival and strengthening of its economy. However, Pakistan has not used the Afghanistan factor effectively. Some say the fear of being blacklisted by the FATF and the international financial watchdog has forced it to extend more support to the US in Afghanistan. The fact has proved a lethal factor, neutralizing Pakistan's effort to take advantage to its cooperation in Afghanistan. Maintaining an equilibrium in its relationship with China and the US is another challenge of Pakistan. The country has a history of ups and downs in its relationship with the US, but it cannot afford a standstill with China, as the relationship has an altogether different nature in the geopolitical, geoeconomic, and geostrategic context. The impression which has developed during the last 2 years that Pakistan is eager to restore its relationship with Washington has created resentment in Beijing. The slowdown of CPEC has strengthened suspicions. In a nutshell, Pakistan is struggling to adjust its geopolitical priorities, and nothing substantive has changed in its geostrategic doctrine. A geostrategic shift should have manifested itself in better trade and political relations with neighbors and aggressive pursuits of implementations of transnational energy and infrastructure mega projects, which have already been agreed upon and just need a little push. CPEC and its connectivity with Afghanistan as well as structural economic reforms would have substantiated such a shift. Such a shift. All these efforts need out of the box thinking and courageous leadership. Fixing the economy through a geostrategic lens cannot be called a doctrinal shift. The writer is a security analyst, published on June 14th, 2020. Please like and subscribe and